8:15 yesterday afternoon, I went to the, Beales in Poole's Dolphin Centre, which you will know. We've spoken about it on the show over the last few months. The top floor of that department store has been turned into what they're calling a health village. It's a scheme which is the first of its kind across the country. They accept these hospital patients who are backlogged, and rather than going to Bournemouth or Poole hospitals, they go there for breast screening or ophthalmology. It's been up and running now for a couple of months. It's running about half capacity at the moment, 250 patients I think it is over the course of a week passing through there. I spoke yesterday to the clinical director of head and neck at University Hospitals Dorset, Mahesh Ramchandani, who explained to me why it can work so well.
There's a lot of opportunity here to increase the capacity, simple terms such as, the number of days of the week we operate, but more importantly, I think, is thinking about different ways of working. The traditional ways of a clinic in a hospital where we see 12 patients and have various tests and investigations, and compared to what we can do using the skills of non-medics, so specialists in their own right with technical skills who often do diagnostic tests better than we can, and then using a system whereby we can see more patients in a given time.
Mahesh Ramchandani there talking to me yesterday. Well, they received a special visit yesterday from the Secretary of State, Sajid Javid, who went to see how they've been running the last couple of months. I got to talk to him, and he told me what he thought of the health village.
Well, I'm on a tour of England and the road to recovery, and it's great today to be in the southwest and to especially be here in Dorset. But from what I've seen here in the village, I'm incredibly impressed, because this is the future, basically. Everyone knows and understands why we have a COVID backlog. The NHS rightly focused on COVID patients during the height of the pandemic. There's a lot of people that the NHS needs to see and wants to see. We need to find new ways of doing things. And what we have here today, this centre, this community diagnostic centre, is right here in the heart of the community, in a shopping centre, above a department store. So convenient for people and families, and they can get their tests and scans done here quickly, and if it's an urgent case, it can be pushed along and looked at much more quickly, and people can also be given the response back very quickly. So the speed is essential, and from what I've heard today from patients and staff alike is that it's working, and it's working incredibly well. Dorset is leading the way, what I see here, and we want to see much more of this across the country, and we're going to do a lot more of this multi-million-pound investment across the country as we recover from COVID.
We're getting reports from schools in Dorset, one in Wimborne, where they've never seen such a shortage of staff, unprecedented teachers off sick. Are we at the right place to be relaxing those restrictions, do you think?
I think as a country we're in a very good place because of the decisions that have been taken by the government and how the NHS has implemented so many of those decisions, where we are the most boosted country in Europe. We have the most antivirals and treatment per head in Europe. We are the most tested, and it's because of these decisions that we are now a country that is heading very quickly back to normal.
You talk about protecting the most vulnerable, and there are people out there who still feel vulnerable to COVID at this time.
Of course, and it's important that for those that are more vulnerable, that they get even higher levels of protection than the rest of us. And so, for example, the antivirals that we have during the Omicron wave, and now they're targeted to the most vulnerable. The NHS, they did a remarkable job during the Omicron wave. They wrote to 1.3 million clinically extremely vulnerable people throughout England, sent them PCR tests in advance to put on their bookshelf to see that if they did ever feel that they might have COVID, that they could be diagnosed much more quickly. They would be sent antivirals, and they've been kept out of hospital. There's been extra booster jabs for people that are more vulnerable. There's extra testing. So it's always will be the case that the government will do everything it can, no matter which way COVID goes, to protect the most vulnerable.
Sajid Javid, Health Secretary, talking to me yesterday in Poole.